Hello there, my name is Turano and today I will be talking about my 9 favorite video games in no particular order. Sharing things is always fun and you, the viewer, maybe will get an idea of what kind of person am I. Why am I doing this in the first place? Well, I just recently turned 20, so I believe that's enough time for a person to pick the games they played in their life and choose the one that really struck them. Games that made them feel certain emotions, lessons that were learned, and games that changed that fellow. I believe video game is art. It has a unique way of presenting itself with audio, visuals, and interactive elements that can forge a unforgettable story or breathtaking experience. Almost like you as a player is part of the art. Jacksepticeye inspires this video. I watched this a long time ago and it popped up again in my feed and I was like, yeah, sure, I think it'll be fun to make my own. That's enough of blabbering, so let's get started. I have to start with Undertale. I believe I would be a very different person, or different in general, if I've never consumed what Toby Fox had cooked. Back in 2016, I kept seeing a yellow Dora and a smiling skeleton on YouTube, and I don't know why. My favorite channel at that time has playthrough of the game, Jacksepticeye. I watched him play, finished it, and I adored it. Soon enough, I got obsessed with Undertale. Like my YouTube feed is like cluttered with just by that game. Those videos on my YouTube feed are like the things I missed, secrets, theories, game theory, music covers, parodies, fan animation.
On days like these, kids like you should be burning in hell.
It is mind-blowing how popular it was in the internet. After all that, I decided to try the game in my old crusty Samsung laptop. It's so potato. Even though I already know what happened in the story, I still enjoyed it nonetheless. For the people who don't know the story of Undertale, I'll briefly explain it. Humans and monsters ruled the surface. War broke out and the humans won. The humans cast a magic spell to trap the monsters underground. One day, a child explored the mountain where the underground entrance is, and they tripped and fell. Your goal is to find the king and exit the place. With RPG fashion, there's a lot of dialogue to read and characters to interact with. You come across monsters and some attack you. Usually your instinct tells you to slay them, but in Undertale, you have the option to spare. Talking to monsters and understanding their problems so they'll become passive. You can hurt and slay them, however, in the tutorial, it said the world, or game, doesn't condone violence. With that notion, figuring out what your enemy is like in the inside is interesting. It's more of a challenging approach. Well, yes, damaging is more, or killing them will be easier, but it makes sense that it's challenging because being a kinder and gentler person is more difficult. Also, the way you avoid incoming attacks is fun. Dodging bullets and swaying weapons, it can be tough at times, like really tough. If you have played like Toho games, like bullet hell games, you've probably seen it. It's like wild. Like how do you dodge so many like projectiles in this tiny little character? What made this game outstanding is the main characters. They are so lovable and well written. They're obnoxious, dumb, endearing, threatening. For a setting that takes place underground, it's pretty bright and lively. In my opinion, it is also one of the games that mastered meta storytelling. Saving and resetting your game file is part of the world, and other characters are aware of that. The choices you make does matter, and with the help of rich dialogue and fascinating twists, makes the player intrigued. You will face the consequences of your actions, and your sins will be judged. Will you be a pacifist, help and lift every monster kind spirits, or let human curiosity control? I can keep going on how outstanding the narrative that Toby Fox has made, but I want to talk about one more thing. Specifically, the music he composed. I think it was my first time listening to music authentically, not just passively. You know when you hear a song in the radio or you're out in the mall, it's like, oh yeah, nice song, and it just passes your head. But you know those times where you actually listen to the music, paying attention what it made you feel or what emotion it conveys. That for me it was Undertale. I was like, I don't know, 7th grade, so 12 to 13.
Ba't ka lagi nagjajakol, Tyron? Kaya tumatangkad ka eh, no?
I remember waking up in the morning, booting up my phone, putting my cheap earbuds like these ones, and just listening to the music. And I would like cry. It's kind of it's kind of embarrassing, but yeah, I cried to one of the songs. The reason why I wanted to learn music is because of Undertale. I still listen to his music till this day. Like the melodies, the harmonies are so ingrained in my head. I still listen to them. I didn't have money at that time, so, and I was too afraid to ask my parents. They can buy me a keyboard. So I downloaded this app on my phone. It's just a simple piano app. And I have no music background, so I have no idea how to play piano, what the notes are, or anything what it means. So I just watched those YouTube videos, tutorials, called Synthesia. It's like those MIDI videos where like the notes like fall into the piano. I just watch them and try to like play on the app. 2021 came up 5 years after I discovered the game, and I finally asked my father if I could have a keyboard. He agreed, and I still have my Yamaha E373 keyboard. It's pretty cool, and it's kind of weighted. It's still plasticky, not weighted like a grand piano or upright, but it tripped me out, because if you've been playing piano on this touchscreen phone, it's gonna feel weird, and it took me a while to adjust. And the first track I learned is Once Upon a Time. It's not for everyone, of course, but I highly recommend it. It genuinely touched my heart, and I hope it will do the same for others. Thank you, Toby Fox and Tammy Chang. Akihabara, Tokyo, Japan, 1995. My mother and father had been living in Japan abroad for some years, and they decided to explore the bustling streets of the electric town. My mother purchased the Nintendo Super Famicom console. One of the games she bought was Donkey Kong Country. I was not able to play the game at that time because I didn't exist yet, until 2004 when I escaped my mother's magic pod. Why did I say that? It sounds weird. I set foot in this cordial and ferocious place called the Philippines. Time passed and my little hands and brain were capable of playing video games around 5 years old, probably. The Famicom, aka Super Nintendo Entertainment System, is my first ever console to wield, I think. Not sure if it's these Game Boys. Anyways, my point is... Donkey Kong Country is one of those games, those classic video games I was able to play, and I'm grateful that my mom bought the game and the console for me to experience. And let me tell you, that game, and playing that game at that age was surreal. Each level in that game looks astonishing, intriguing, and scary. When I booted that console up and saw the cool flashy Rareware intro with the 3D Nintendo text, my reaction was, this is the coolest thing that my baby eyes have seen. The original DK theme started playing, which I didn't know at the time. And then DK dropped down with the boombox, knocking Cranky's wrinkly old hairy simian rump, now playing a hip remix. Definitely one of the best 2D platformers out there. This is a real man's game. There are times when I was just mesmerized by the world levels. And the secret passages, the bonus levels I guess, I came across were so rewarding. The consoles at that time were still limited, but the SNES kicked up the notch. The models were pre-rendered 3D graphics, which is really cool.
最新のコンピューターグラフィックス技術を使った 3D モデリング 3D レンダリング
I'd say it was a pretty hard game for me to beat at that time. There's certain enemies I got annoyed, like the bees, obstacles like jumping onto another railroad track. That was strenuous. Donkey Kong Country is secretly a horror game, and it genuinely made me uneasy. The game over screen could traumatize a little boy, well, for me at least. A bit of an exaggeration, but the reason why they are injured on this screen is because I failed them and my little brain felt bad. And they're all hurt. Milestone Mayhem was blood-curdling with its murderous crocs. Ice Age Valley's ominous atmosphere. There are many more levels in the game, but those are the ones I mostly recall. The Congo jungle levels were the most vivid memories I had in that game, reinforced by its captivating ambient soundtrack that fits the nature of the game. Banger of a soundtrack. oozing synths that flow in my ear, and sounds that will make me go ape shit. Truly a game that my brother and I would cherish in our childhood. I've only played 4 GTA games. This game, Vice City Stories, Chinatown Wars, and the 5th one. LCS was my first introduction to the franchise, and I absolutely felt liberated. You're telling me I can drive around the city with a sports car, run them over, and kill them with a gun? I'm not a psychopath, I swear. I played it on the PSP for hours, and to be frank, I have no idea what the story is about. I didn't even know GTA 3 existed before this, or any other GTA games. 4 existed? I didn't even know that. I beat the game by playing the main missions, but again, zero recollection when it comes to the narrative. My tiny brain did not care. All I know is that I will choose to ride the fastest vehicle and jump over this convenient soil that is shaped like a ramp. Or run over more cyclists, because that's always fun. I mostly goofed around collecting guns, car theft, killing innocent civil. I should stop saying that. Stressing the cops and venturing into the cities. Do you guys remember GameFAQs? It's the website with, I guess, video game tips, but I use that website to note down every cheat code in the game, and that was really fun. I always bring it with me every time I go out with the PSP. And one of the best skills to have at that time is actually remembering it without looking at the paper. Moving around in a 3D space was a game changer for me. Most of the games I played back then were like 2D. What the hell did I play on the PSP? I could easily put Far Cry, because that's also, which I had a lot of fun playing that game, like a lot. Also the recent GTA 5. I goofed around and all that. But Liberty City Stories is where it all started. That brings out my inner adventurous kid personality, I guess. I remember one time when I played GTA 5, I was just driving around and my mom was folding clothes, watching me play the game. She was so appalled by me running over the civilians. For a normal player, and that's fine, it's GTA, right? But my mom was scared. She probably thought I was like a little demon child. It's quite comical to think about that these games are part of most people's childhood, even though it's 18 plus. Parents should really regulate What kids play? Well, they didn't do they didn't do that in my childhood. That's all I can share for today. I'm splitting this in 3 parts. I don't think I said that in the beginning. I should have said that. I'm really excited to share the next 3 games because I have a lot to say more than why I like them. And it takes me a while to edit and record. I mean, recording is a piece of cake, but I don't really have a private space. So around this time, it's good. I'm like in the garage. There's no one here, and it's really hard to have privacy in this household. I'm just doing or using what I can as of right now, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Enjoy this video, and see you in the next one.
Oh!